Hello, everyone. It's Dennis here with Collider Games. I'm joined with first in Los Angeles, Dorian. Dorian, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. Doing good. Played some Avengers this week, so got a lot to talk about. I'm excited.
Cool. And then Josh also joined us, not from South Africa, but from outer space this
Yeah, the
week.
Wi-Fi is much better up here.
How are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great. Just testing out Elon Musk's new internet while I'm up here. I'm interning as an astronaut. It's fantastic. No, but all jokes aside, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're testing out Zoom this week instead of Skype to see how it goes. I was wrong. I'm not in Los Angeles. I'm in Hawaii for my background.
Nice.
Because at least mentally, that's where I want to be. Not in hot-ass Los Angeles, indoors, nothing
And
to
I've got to
do.
have to turn the AC off to record because it will just get the AC will just pick up on my mic. So taking the bullet for you guys.
Yeah, I'm trapped in a little room with no AC either. But anyways,
it's freezing here, man. I wish it was hot.
The one thing you can do in this quarantine is play games, and we've been playing a lot of them.
Yeah.
Two big games came out today. The biggest one, let's talk about that first, is Avengers.
NBA 2K. No, I'm just kidding.
Avengers, which me and Dorian did a review of. We both just beat it. I beat it last night. He beat it this morning. We did a non-spoiler review of the campaign. We're going to do a spoiler review next week. Why don't you give them your kind of just a mini review of what you talked about in there?
So from our video, just to summarize it up, like I said, I went in, I was a little bit nervous, just not really, I love the beta, but just all the controversy things building around it. I was a little bit nervous going into it. All I wanted was just a good story, good gameplay, good mechanics, and it delivered on all fronts for me. I thought the story campaign we talked about, it's not a spoiler if you've seen any trailers, any game footage. Kamala Khan is essentially the main character, and they tell the story through her eyes from the beginning. And I thought that was a very good plot device, a very good storytelling technique. And from there, it just expands. We both agreed that the middle kind of gets muddled a little bit, especially if you did play the beta. Some of it does get a bit repetitive because it's like, all right, we've done this. It's like once you've tried to take down 3 different sectors, it'll get a little repetitive just in the middle a little bit. But once you get into the third act, smooth sailing, sets up a great campaign for the rest of the future, and I'm excited to see what they deliver next, and I can't wait to actually do the multiplayer because we just focused on beating the main storyline. We didn't do really any side missions, any co-op plays, so I can't wait to dive into that and to see how that actually plays now that the game is officially out.
Yeah, in the review I talked about it. I really like this game. I don't think I love it. I don't think it'll be in my. I mean, maybe it'll be in my top 5 or whatever. It definitely won't be in my top 3. But I enjoyed playing it. I had a lot of fun. The campaign, like Dorian says, starts off pretty strong, ends very strong. In the middle, it just gets a little repetitive. They saved a lot of the creativity in terms of the enemies you fight and how you fight them and the locations. They saved it all kind of towards the end, which, it's always better to end off well than to kind of leave off on a mediocre note. So you kind of have that lasting impression. So yeah, story was good. So I think it's worthwhile for Marvel fans, both casual and hardcore. It's not like a hardcore game. You know what I mean?
No.
Like when you're playing it, the combat isn't like with Ghost of Tsushima where you have to really kind of study the different moves and the combat techniques. With Marvel's Avengers, you do have to use some of the different skill sets and upgrade your gear, but it's not as vital.
Yeah,
So
I think mainly just the main focus is when you're trying to fight somebody, is just you have to have timing, like parrying, just knowing how to dodge is the main essential thing in terms of defense. But as far as offense, as long as you can dodge those moves, it's just you can do different type of combos. They try to mix it up a little bit, like with square, 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 triangle. But for the most part, you're doing light attacks the whole time when you're dodging those.
Yeah.
Enemies, unless you do have your ultimate saved up, and then that's when you'll use that. But for the most part, it's not too combat heavy oriented. Like you don't have to master combos on Mortal Kombat or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't try to do that. I thought the mechanics were as basic as they needed to be to just like give us a fun game. It didn't feel too stagnant. And what I think is like, as far as we'll do like a more in-depth review, because like we said, we just did the campaign. I'm glad like now it felt like 50% of it was the campaign, and now the rest is multiplayer, doing all these missions, doing all these drop zones. And I'm excited to see how they're going to actually develop that and keep that going and keep that fresh without it feeling like repetitive, like we said it kind of was in the middle. So I'm excited to see how they're going to get inventive and with these new characters that they'll bring along the way. So I can't wait to see what they deliver next.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see how the sales are going to be on this game, because it did have a little bit of backlash when it first came out. But like I noted, like in other podcasts, it was funny to see the E3 reaction from the hardcore gamers of Avengers, and then being in Hall H when they had the presentation where all the like less hardcore gamers were like they were loving everything they saw. And this isn't even like with the new like face models and whatnot, all the newer stuff that has come out with it. So I'm interested to see how it's going to be received from both hardcore gamers and casual gamers. Josh, you interested in this game, and how do you think it's going to do overall?
I think it's definitely going to do well. The game's got a lot of longevity behind it. I definitely see them doing like this. I wouldn't say games as a service, but they're going to be working on this game for a while, adding DLC and keeping like live events, keeping new like fresh events coming in all the time. So they're going to keep this as games as a service for a while. And then I see them, if it does well financially, I definitely see them doing another one for the next gen consoles. Probably not like right away, probably not next year, you know what I mean? But maybe a year after or something. I think they just announced free DLC today, which is Hawkeye. It's Kate. You guys are going to help me here. It's Kate something. I forget her last name.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, yeah. They announced her as free DLC today, I think, or yesterday.
Yeah, they showed off. It's interesting that we were talking about that. I was like, how are they going to incorporate like different moves? And now we already know Hawkeye's coming, but they've confirmed Kate Bishop, and seeing her little trailer, it got me excited. I'm just curious to see how they're going to just start differentiating the moves, because without spoiling anything, I said it in my review, you get to play as all the 6 Avengers in the story mode, of course, and it felt like Thor was kind of a mix of Captain America's gameplay mixed with Iron Man's in a way. Like you can fly like Iron Man, but you can throw your hammer like you throw the shield. So kind of blended their type of fighting styles with his. So I'm just interested to see how they're going to vary it up and mix it up. But like you said, I think this will be a long running game. They have daily challenges like any right now going before they had daily challenges before, like just for the open beta people and the early access people. So I'm excited to see how long this will go and how long it will maintain popularity, because I think it will slowly win more and more people over, because I know a lot of people from the beta were nervous, were cautiously optimistic, and some people didn't even like the beta. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the reviews look like. And speaking of the beta, I think it was Square Enix announced like yesterday or the day before that it was the most downloaded beta ever. Ever. So that's interesting to see how that beta will turn into sale results. So we'll see.
I think where it's going to find success. I think where it's going to find success is in the form of like being a bit more casual. Like it's just too many like hardcore games out there, or like those games that need your full focus, 100% focus. You need like high energy levels to play it. Like what I like about this is that it's not incredibly casual, but it's like it doesn't feel draining. It doesn't look like the kind of game where after playing it for like half an hour, it doesn't look like I'm going to be stressed out of my mind. You know what I mean?
Bro, I like that. You hit the nail on the head. I think that's the perfect way to put it. It's like, it's not too hard. There are difficult, and you can change your difficulty and things like that. But as far as like frustrating things or things like that, it's like, no, bro, I could play this for a few hours and just be chill about it. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's in the middle. I think it's in the middle between like the novice and the casual fan and the hardcore gamer. There's the best for both worlds.
I wonder what like the movies weekend numbers are going to be. Yeah, literally.
It's like Marvel movies where it's like it's fun, it's entertaining, there's some drama, but it's not like super super deep and not heavy,
Basically. And the banter between the banter between the cast and things like that felt very not like MCU ripped out, but it felt organic. It felt like, you know, they were leaning more to the campiness of the characters bantering with each other versus like them being like serious, like we need to save the day type of thing. So it worked out.
Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what their opening weekend numbers are going to be. You know, like pre-orders included and everything. I wonder what their initial weekend sales are going to be. Because it's
Especially,
like it's unfortunate because this game obviously would have made way more money had there been no pandemic. You know, people would have a lot more free funds to spare and things like that. So it's unfortunate that like games, like certain games, are going to take a hit in that sense because it's some people just don't have money right now. You know, but yeah, I wonder what this weekend would have been like if COVID-19 never happened, you know, in terms of this game and its launch.
and then also we have to factor in, because I think we'll talk about it in a second here. We have another release that you actually played. We have Tony Hawk also dropping this weekend, as well as NBA 2K. So they're completely different. I mean, like 2K and the Tony Hawk game, like they're kind of in the same type of audience, kind of sports related, but not really. But they're two different types of genres. You're attracting two different type of fan bases. But for those people that are like, maybe like for you, for example, or for like me, we have like we want to get all three of these games, but it's like, bro, we're in a pandemic. Like usually if this wasn't COVID, right now, everybody was fine. Yeah, I get two. I'd maybe try to get both of them, but now you got to be selective. It's like, if I want to get Madden, if I want to get 2K, or want to get Tony Hawk or Avengers, like which one do I have to like? It's crazy that we're having to do this dilemma now. But yeah.
I mean, I think if you are a hardcore Tony Hawk or skateboarding gamer or hardcore basketball gamer, you'll get those. But in the general casual audience, the Marvel game is much more accessible. You know, it's fighting, it's combat, it's like, you know, one of the institutions of gaming. So
yeah, much bigger market.
And I've got to say, they've been those promo, like, I don't want to say they're misleading and everything. Those promo trailers that you see, those TV spots that you see for the Avengers game, they sell the hell out of it. Like I see those trailer spots, I'm like, that's the game I want to be a part of. It feels like it's a cinematic trailer, of course, but it gets people hyped. But it's a good trailer.
Yeah, we'll have our spoiler review next week, and we'll play some more multiplayer and get some of our thoughts on there. So speaking of the other games that are coming out, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster come out. And Josh, I believe you got it and you've been playing it hardcore.
Yeah, me and my friend, we pre-ordered it. So we like pre-downloaded it yesterday. And then we literally they're staring at the clock waiting for midnight so we could start playing it. And then we've been playing it since midnight. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, out of the two, like, I mean, I haven't played the second one yet, the remaster, but like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is my favorite in terms of like the old school games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, and 4. The second one was my favorite. So I'm looking forward to playing that the most, but I can't, like, I have to 100% the first game, you know what I mean? So it's just the way it works for me. Even though I'm looking forward mostly to the second one, I got 100% the first game. So me and my friend are about halfway through the first game, 100%ing, like, before moving on to the next level. We want 100% that level and then move on, you know what I mean? Dude, I can't put it down, man. Like, as a diehard Tony Hawk fan, it is, they nailed it. They hit the nail on the head with this. Like, everything's perfect. The music, dude, the soundtrack is insane. And there are some songs on the soundtrack that I would never have expected them to put on a Tony Hawk game, but it works. You know what I mean? Like, it actually works. I think there was Cardi B and like other people I wasn't expecting, but it was like, hell yeah. Like, I'm here for this. The thing that surprised me the most, which I don't know if this is in the demo, like if it was, then I completely missed it in the demo, but the Creative Skater, they did a really, really good job with the Creative Skater.
That wasn't in the demo, because I would have created my own. Yeah, I would have.
The demo didn't have a lot of this stuff.
The demo had, it was just one.
You could just be
one
Tony
track.
Hawk,
just Tony Hawk and then
in
one
one
level.
place.
So yeah, no, the character, I was pleasantly surprised by the character creator. You obviously, as you like level up and you do more things, it's weird. It has like this almost kind of like battle pass type system, but it's not a battle pass. It's like you do certain things and you get more experience and more money and you level up. The more levels you get, the more things you unlock from the shop to buy to customize your character. One of the things I saw that they had that wasn't in the demo is because obviously you got like to choose what's on your deck, and they've got animated graphics that you can have on your deck. Like you can have like, which is just really sick. I mean, obviously not real, but like just it's cool for the video game, you know, to have these animated decals on your deck. Love it. I made myself like some pasty white SoundCloud rapper looking dude, and I love it. I like looked for the worst face tattoos I could find, and I put it on my guy, and I ran with it, and it's been great. So yeah, Create a Skater, very surprised with that. They've also got the Create a Skate Park option. I haven't played around with that yet, but it also looks really good. I can't wait to actually try out some other user created skate parks and to make my own skate park and upload it. So far, all in all, I'm very happy with this game, man. There's not much else that they can do to it. Like, there's no, like, sure, they could probably like release more characters and stuff or more skaters for the like DLC purposes. But what I hope is that they make their money from this, and then they decide to remaster some of the other like popular older Tony Hawk's games, like Underground 2, which had the cast of Jackass, and American Wasteland, a couple like Session, was it a Project Session or? I think so, or Session 8. Anyways, I hope that they like recreate those because of this is popular, because there's not much that they can do with this game now that it's released, in my opinion. But so far, it's amazing. I'm busy recording clips of me getting all the secret tapes. So hopefully by the end of the weekend or Monday, I can have a video up on the channel of all the secret tape locations if you guys are curious as to where to get the secret tapes. I'll streamline that whole process for you. But I'm loving it, man. That like they added in so many skaters, like new younger skaters, like just fan favorites like Tony Hawk's son. I know I mentioned that before, but they when you start up the game, it shows you a lot of the original footage from the original games, but then they like add in newer footage for the newer skaters that are also now in the game. So it's like a mix of like old school footage and new school footage. So the whole intro is really sick.
Josh, did you get to try the beta?
Yeah, I did play the beta. Yeah.
Was it the same? Is it a different intro from the?
I don't remember. It could be because it's like.
Because I don't think I remember seeing any.
I don't remember.
I know Tony Hawk, but I don't know any other skaters. But I just remember
they were showing like much newer stuff from like 2 or 3 years ago, kind of stuff. Like you can tell the quality changes in the camera quality.
They're all HD. Yeah, the camera because they're like all HD. It's like that stuff didn't even exist when Tony Hawk.
Because they got some footage from the '90s, early 2000s, and then they mix in some footage from the 2010s.
His son is in the intro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah. His son's in the intro. But dude, it's fun, man. It's so much fun. I'm so happy with the game. Genuinely been playing the crap out of it. They really nailed the maps. Each individual area, they nailed it. It's like I can't even begin to describe it. It's so much fun. That's like I have nothing bad to say about this game. I'm so happy. It's worth every cent. And even if you're not a fan of the series and you just like skating games, pick it up. It's fun. It's so much fun.
It's funny how remakes and remasters are so well received in the video game community versus in the movie community, where most remakes are like looked down upon. I mean, it's the nature of the beast because games you're really the essence of the game is the gameplay, and you're keeping that intact, and then you're just upgrading the graphics and sound and all this other stuff. You're enhancing it, where in movies you really can't do that, like you can't get the old actor back to play that same age or you know what I mean. It's just a whole different animal.
I mean, we got deep fake, so
yeah.
I will say from where I am so far, doesn't look like there's any hidden characters or secret characters. At least not that I found any yet.
No Spider-Man.
I mean, I knew that wasn't going to happen, but a boy can dream. Like, I mean, Kelly Slater, no one really owns the rights to Kelly Slater except for Kelly Slater. They could have still put him back in, like or at least if anything, they could have added like a whole bunch of new hidden characters that you wouldn't expect. You know what I mean? Like musicians or something. Like, I'm sure that there's like a lot of musicians who like skating that would have liked to be in this.
It would have been funny if they would have done the same. Like, didn't you say Spider-Man was on there before?
Yeah, on the original, he was.
Yeah, it would be funny if they were like, you can play as Spider-Man only on the PS4 version of the Tony Hawk Remaster.
Just like Avengers. All right, moving on. Kind of more somber note here. Unfortunately, we all learned that Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther, also played a lot of other kind of iconic real life people like Thurgood Marshall. I'm talking about James Brown, Jackie Robinson. He did a ton of movies, especially in a short amount of time. He passed away from colon cancer, which is it's very sad, but also kind of like a testament to him and as a person being able to film all these movies while going through something so mentally and physically draining. It's just crazy. People, maybe people who watch movies who don't know much about the movie making process. It's an arduous process. It's not like people think, oh, it's so easy. You just stand in front of a camera and you talk or whatever. It's like, no, man, there's so much behind it, and it's very tiring work. It's not, okay, it's not, you're not like building, you're not using your hands for like physical labor, but it's not
emotionally
as easy
draining.
Like, emotionally and physical.
To be vulnerable in like a room with 40 other people, and people are yelling out things that has nothing to do with you being emotional. It can be tough, man. Like, yeah, I can't believe he had it. This, like, when I read about this, I was like, you cannot tell in any of the like past movies he's done in the past like 5 years, you cannot tell that like he has it. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he gave us such amazing performances whilst having like battling cancer, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. So the reason I bring it up is that in Fortnite they added, they've been having this Marvel crossover recently, and they added this Black Panther monument, a point of interest in the Fortnite world. They actually said it was something they were already planning on putting out with this crossover. So it's not like they made it specifically for the passing of Chadwick Boseman, but that it was already ready, but they decided to release it now to honor and celebrate him. Dorian, what are your thoughts about Chadwick Boseman's passing, and then also this kind of Fortnite tie-in? Is it something celebratory, or is it taking advantage of the situation?
I mean, I appreciate them doing that, taking respect and giving them a moment, especially if they were already planning on doing it. Just the passing itself is still hits hard, man. Like Black Panther, I've talked about it so much, and for those of you who follow me on my personal and Geeks of Color, like Black Panther was that movie, Chadwick Boseman was that dude, and I truly appreciated and admired all of his work. And I met him a couple of times. I got to interview him, and he was just an awesome dude. He always treated me with respect, and just and the first time I actually met him, he didn't even have to stop or even give me the time of day, but he did, and I will never forget that moment. And it's just still surreal. Like I've been still just in a funk this whole week because of it. Just rewatching his movies, rewatching Black Panther again. It's really sad, and like you said, it is a testament to who he is as a person and how strong he was physically and mentally to carry out just doing all of that, for shooting the Five Bloods, shooting 21 Bridges, doing all these movies in the short amount of time that he did, because oh man, it's hard. It's ridiculous that he's gone. I'm still sad about it, getting emotional right now talking about it, but I'm thankful that he was able to impact our lives, and thankful for everything he did, from his work as Black Panther to all the charity that he did. So I'm just glad, and especially the charity work he did for all the cancer kids, knowing that he himself had cancer. That just hits on another level now. So I'm just appreciative for everything that he's did, and thank him again just for everything. So, but yeah, I don't find it exploitive or anything. I think, especially like I said, if they were already doing it, and people pay tribute to different people different ways. It's like you saw DC Comics even acknowledge, they're like, hey, it's regardless of different universes, he's a king regardless. So paying different companies, paying tributes from an authentic standpoint from their game, I think that's respectful, and I'm glad they did it. Took a moment to give him his respect.
Yeah, I saw him in person a couple of times. Once was at the Endgame premiere. Everyone's like walking around trying to get to their seats, and him and some of the other Black Panther cast were together. The other time, this was kind of more sad when I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, I did shoot an interview with him. Not me interviewing him personally, but just behind the scenes in the camera. But it was with John Schnepp in 2016, which is about 4 years ago. Not knowing, that he was through this interview, both of them would be gone at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
John Snepp passed away 2 years ago, and you had Chadwick Boseman pass away, here, just the other day. So yeah, it was just one of those things that, unfortunate, sad, but just a testament to who his character was.
And the last thing I want to talk about before we move on from Chadwick Boseman is that I just want to say that a lot of people were giving him crap about the last video he posted on his Instagram. You could visibly see that he was a little bit skinnier, and some people were saying that it was for a role, and other people were just making jokes and making fun about his weight and things like that. So I just want to take this time to say, like, you never know what somebody's going through, so don't talk about people's weight and things like that, because it turned out to be colon cancer. So shit like that is serious, and making fun of people's weight and things like that is not cool. So let's not do it. And that's all I got to say about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
With regards to the just the gaming, more gaming related on that topic. With regards to the them putting the monument in Fortnite, they had it ready so quick. So obviously they like they said, they must have been having it ready for. They were probably going to use it for something else, because if anything, we now know that Epic and Fortnite have got a very close tie with Marvel. They've worked together for a long time. So on a positive note, I do think that this is them kind of teasing to a possibility of a Black Panther skin in Fortnite. I'm not going to be using his death as a way to promote this, obviously, but I think that because they have that asset before the time, because they had the asset in the game already, I have a feeling that we'll probably get a Fortnite Black Panther skin. I hope now, if anything, if they are going to do that, I hope that they can because what they did with all the Marvel characters for the season is they rebranded them, kind of like made their own version of the comics and their own costumes and suits and stuff. So if anything, I hope if they are going to do Black Panther, I hope that they make it like the Chadwick Boseman one, from the movie, where it's like with Aquaman, you can clearly tell that that's Jason Momoa in the game. Same with when they put John Wick in the game, they just didn't call him John Wick. I hope that they do that with Black Panther. They just stick true to that. That'd be really sick.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a next subject. This is something we've been talking about for the last few months, which is AT&T. The rumor was that they were looking to sell their Warner Brothers Interactive Gaming division, which included, titles like Mortal Kombat, the Batman games, and whatnot, Harry Potter as well. But it looks like that they're kind of rethinking it and deciding that they're not going to be selling it because it's too valuable, even though they're trying to pay down some debt. They said it's I don't know if this is a business ploy to try and up the price, but if you take it at face value, that maybe they're looking at wow, video games is maybe, especially if you see with this pandemic going on, a form of entertainment that is moving forward and can be not only created but consumed without people needing to be gathered together. Like with movies and televisions, one, the movie theaters most of them are closed, and then two, you can't produce anything because people are, I know that they lifted some of the bans on it and they had protocols, but people are still getting sick with COVID, where with video games, it's all it's all created within the virtual world. Sure, you'll have some voiceovers from real people, but it's very easy to social distance with a voiceover. Troy Baker, who we talked to, he's doing it from his house. He's doing it from his place. He's getting the lines and whatnot. So I'm just wondering if that had to do with them rethinking, oh, well, this may be the future, which we'll actually talk about in a future topic in this podcast. But maybe we shouldn't be so quick to let go of something that may be much more valuable in the future. What do you think, Dorian?
I think it's funny that we're getting this news only a couple weeks after DC fandom. I bet they AT&T saw the reaction from the Gotham Knights news, and they saw the reaction from Suicide Squad, and they were like, hold up, what we got over here? Let's slow down a little bit. It seems like people are hype about these games, and since they're not coming out till 2021, 2022, I think they want to see what the turnout will be from those games and engage whether or not it really is should they hold on to these games. But I think that's what sparked the interest for them trying to maybe reevaluate whether or not they should sell these games, especially if DC's already cutting down a lot of their other assets. I think it would hopefully make sense for them to go all in more so into gaming. So I'd be interesting to see if they just end up deciding to keep it just because of that and just see from there. But I think it's the right move for if I was WB, I'd be if I was them, I'd try to keep the game division going and keep it under my brand, so I don't have to worry about any control or anything like that. So I would say they're making the right move for right now.
Josh?
I'd say, in my opinion, I think that is like maybe 60 to 70% of the reasoning, like for sure. Because I mean, they estimated the sale at about $4 billion. So for them to say no to a potential $4 billion, they must have a lot of faith in the growth of the video games coming out. And yes, we saw a huge, like an overwhelmingly positive response to the games that they announced with this, like mainly the Gotham Knights game, as well as the Suicide Squad game. But they say, I mean, Bloomberg says here that a possible reason why they're holding back is because of a new Harry Potter game coming out. And like,
they've been working on
this news has actually made me a bit more optimistic, because there's no way in hell they're gonna like avoid a $4 million deal to bring out a new Lego Harry Potter game. You know what I mean? So it's got to be like some epic RPG open world Harry Potter game they're working on that people have been wanting for years. If it's that, then I can see them making a killing, especially if they find a way to employ microtransactions, which I would hate, but at the same time, I can see them doing that because of the success of how much money the Harry Potter mobile game has brought in just off of microtransactions. I can see that the brand in general would probably want to do that. But look, dude, if they could do like a sick open world Harry Potter game, I am all there for it. Like, I used to love the Harry Potter games on PlayStation, like the actual movie adaptation games. And all I ever wanted was just give me Hogwarts. Just give me Hogwarts and give me the experience. I don't want to be Harry Potter. Give me the experience of like a normal Hogwarts student, you know, going through all the grades, starting from like scratch. Like, I think that would be such a cool premise. But clearly they have a lot of they must have a lot invested into this Harry Potter game for them to like have even mentioned it to Bloomberg in this like interview. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was leaks on the actual game. I don't know if it's open world or not, but it's definitely like more RPG action adventure where you go through Hogwarts and you go through different stuff. And I'm sure it's probably going to be one of those things, you know, like Avengers, where it's like you have the set story and you can play through it and you have some certain level of customization. But then if you want more, like different wands or different outfits, then that's where you pay, and that's where the microtransactions come.
You want that Nimbus 2000? You got to pay for it, buddy.
I hope WB. I think it's the right call for them to go all in on these. Like, if it is a Harry Potter game, I hope so, because Fantastic Beasts movies are trash, and J.K. Rowling just keeps ruining the Harry Potter franchise. So I would hope they just divert all their attention to just be like, oh no, don't worry about the books, just focus on this new game we got. Let's focus all in on the Harry Potter video game franchise rather than the movies, and then hopefully we get They need to put a TV show on HBO Max, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I would hope they go all in on a Harry Potter game. That would be sick.
Yeah, and another thing to note with WB games not being sold, in the scheme of the gaming industry, it hurts potentially Microsoft the most, because you know there were rumors that maybe they would purchase them and get these exclusive titles that they desperately need, versus Sony, where Sony, it's like they didn't have to buy them, but them being multi-platform is almost like a win for Sony and PlayStation, because now if it's on both platforms, still Sony's not losing out on anything. They still have their own exclusives, and Microsoft doesn't have these potential exclusives that could sell their system. So
Microsoft
I think they just
has nothing. It's got nothing.
They got the quadruple They have the quadruple A studio that has like the biggest, you know, creatives from
that game. Whenever it drops, that better be the best goddamn game I've ever played in my life. Like, it better be.
I mean, it's not going to be a launch title game
for the rest of my.
Well, it's not a launch title game, but I mean, this game, when it drops, it better be like
game changer.
Last of Us, God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Uncharted.
It needs to win Game of the Year for the next
Ghost
3 years.
Ghost of Tsushima, all wrapped into one.
It needs to make as much money as GTA
It
5
needs to
did.
be 100-hour gameplay campaign mode. I don't care. It better be a cinematic movie experience. I want an anime with it. I want a prequel. Give me some books. Like they better have all that packaged and ready to go when they make the announcement.
You know what? While we're kind of on that topic of Xbox, I think it's worth pointing because we'll probably end up mentioning this later on. May as well mention it now. I finally managed to get myself Xbox Game Pass for PC, and it is so worth it. It is, Dennis. It is so worth it. Like we have regional pricing here, so I'm only paying like $2.50 a month or something for it.
Jeez.
I know it's crazy. Dorian, you've got Ultimate, right?
I'm about to move. What the fuck? $2.99. Man,
$14.99 for Ultimate here.
Well,
it's $4, and then it's like $4.99. Well, it's $4.99 for Xbox Game Pass for PC, like just for PC. I believe it's $5 a month because it's still in beta. But Dorian, if you have Ultimate, dude, do yourself a favor, download Xbox Game Pass for PC.
I have it.
Oh, dude, hell yeah! I can join. We can play some Titanfall 2. Like, there's so much shit on there, dude.
Halo,
play Sea of Thieves,
Halo,
all the Halo games.
I have Titanfall 2, but I don't have that through Xbox.
Well, I'm saying it's on Game Pass, so if you want to play it on PC together, just stream
okay,
it.
hell yeah, dude! I'm down. Titanfall 2, like Titanfall 2, took me away from Apex. Like it tricked me and made me think like I like Titanfall 2 more than I like Apex. I don't. I love Apex, but Titanfall 2 is that game. So yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah. And also Sea of Thieves, dude. Sea of Thieves is a great multiplayer game, dude.
I'm good.
We're gonna be pirates together, bro.
I'm good on
okay. But yeah, if anybody's listening that does PC game, get Xbox Game Pass for PC. It's amazing. I couldn't choose between EA Play, which is EA Access. They rebranded it. It's now called EA Play. They're both priced the exact same per month, but I just think you get way more games with Xbox Game Pass for sure. Mm-hmm. And they just added Microsoft Flight Simulator to Game Pass for PC. Yeah. Which is
and all huge. The day one launches, that are going to come out is eventually when they make Outer Worlds 2, it'll be a day one on Game Pass.
You get to play it 10 days before the game comes out.
Yeah,
even if you don't have Ultimate, if you have the normal pass, you can play the game 10 days before it comes out, but only for 10 hours. Whereas if you have it at Ultimate, you can play it for as long as you want 10 days before the time.
Yeah, so it is the best deal. I just wish Microsoft.
I mean, your first month is $1, I think, which is
creating
great.
more exclusive games. I think that's where it comes in. Then to me, it's worth getting Xbox Series X and getting a Game Pass.
Which, Dennis, now I get to try Alan Wake because it's part of the Game Pass for PC.
Oh, is it? Nice. Yeah.
So I have that downloaded. I have not touched it. I'm just, there's so many things in my catalog that I have.
Well, have you finished Control?
Nope.
Dude.
Finish Control first.
Good. Okay.
Finish Control. I'm playing the DLC right now.
Control is so sick, Dennis. I've been playing it for about a week or two. I wanted to try out like the ray tracing, and obviously it doesn't make much of a difference to the graphics, the game itself, but the lighting. Oh my god, dude. It's so sexy on PC with ray tracing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we have a couple more.
Great segue.
Yeah, I'll skip the Left 4 Dead one. We'll talk about that one next, but or after that. But the Nvidia, they announced the RTX 3080, which is, I think was it last year? How long ago was the last one?
Honestly.
The 2080 was the top of the line for the consumer graphics cards.
Yeah, the 2080 Super.
So supposedly the 3080 they just announced is going to be twice as powerful as the 2080, and they're going to be able to do 100 frames per second in 4K. And then I forgot how many seconds. I think maybe 60 FPS in 8K or something like that. So it's just ridiculous what this can handle in terms of performance. And if you check out any of the videos, you'll see how realistic the video looks.
I'm gonna sound stupid here, but what is this? What is it for? What?
It's a graphics card. It's a graphics card for PC. Yeah.
So that graphics card, I could get that, and my games would look like that.
Yeah, I mean, how much RAM do you have?
I don't know.
I think you said you got 16
It was struggling with Horizon Zero Dawn too. So I mean,
you might need some more RAM, but yes, in essence, you'd be able to. It takes ray tracing.
It looked like real life. I was like,
yeah, dude, and that's in engine in game.
So
You know what I mean? Like,
that's what my games will look like. So let's say I pop in Avengers, it'll look that crystal clear. Look like I better see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
if the game was designed for
Yeah,
that
that's the
graphics
thing.
card,
Is
yeah.
Okay, so that's all right.
yeah, they have the. It's more for future games. I mean,
Yeah.
if studios want to keep updating and help enhance the graphics for older games, they can. But mostly, it's going to be for future games. And remember, 3080. I think what's the price on it? Is like $1,000 or something like that for the card.
Never mind.
I mean, but the 3070, Dennis, the 3070
is
is
500.
only $500. That's fucking mind blowing. Why? I mean, if you have a PC, why get a next gen console? Unless you, of course, want to play the exclusives. But right now, I'm sitting here going, I could buy myself a PS5, which, assuming it's going to be costed $500, I could buy myself a PS5, or I could get myself the RTX 3070 and just be set for like the next 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? In terms of like PC gaming.
$699 for the 3080.
Yeah, which is great, dude, honestly. And the 3080 is the one, I believe that's what we watched that video on with the marbles.
Yeah. And then they're making the 3090 that's going to be for 8K 60 FPS. So
how much is that? Like 1,400, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
3090. Yeah.
It's more about the technology and just how it's getting better. You're talking about.
It's just so affordable compared to if you're comparing it to like the 2080, it's just so affordable, dude. Like, why? I was watching a lot of videos on this, and it makes sense to me. And I think it's, at the end of the day, it has a lot to do with like gaming has gone up because of COVID-19. But I think they want to get, because Nvidia they're doing their own thing and they're like working with a lot of gaming companies. I think they just want as many people as possible to get their hands on this graphics card. I mean, sure, the cost to make it is probably low, but for them to price it that low when they know that they could price it higher because other graphics cards that can perform like that will cost higher from other like brands, you know what I mean? So if they wanted to, they could price it higher, but they chose to price it much lower. And like that set I don't know what other brands are going to do. Like they got to really fight hard to fight that price, dude. Like they set the bar there. They completely whereas most companies definitely would have priced it much higher. They decided we're going to price it cheap. We're going to try to get it into as many people's PCs as possible. And I'm sure there's got to be some other like profitable reason as to why they're doing this. You know what I mean? Maybe it's got to relate to like deals they're doing with game companies or something, because I don't know why a company out of the goodness of their heart would give us something affordable.
Never out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So yeah, but anyways, that's some new technology that's coming our way. Definitely interesting for PC gaming, also for virtual production. We have Unreal 5 Engine 5 coming out soon. So yeah, something to look at, keep our eye on. The next one we have is Left 4 Dead 2 teaser called The Last Stand, which is actually not Valve produced. It's actually the community because Left 4 Dead hasn't had any new content.
It's an 11-year-old game.
Yeah. But Valve did bless this game, so they basically said go ahead, make it, sell it.
Sick.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no like, hey, give us a whatever, like stop making this, blah blah blah. Which to me sounds like Valve has given up on the property if they're gonna let community.
That's what they did with Half-Life. Before they did Half-Life Alex, like some guy fan made a multiplayer Half-Life. I think was it called Black Mesa, or was Black Mesa its own thing? I can't remember. But I know that some dude basically made his own like multiplayer version of Half-Life, and Valve gave it its blessing and said, yeah, you could add it to the Steam store and sell it as like a DLC or an add-on kind of thing. Yeah. So it's something that they have done before, but like you said, it's usually, by the looks of things, if this is a habit, it seems to be with like platforms or IPs that they just don't care about anymore.
Yeah. And if they want to, they can always come back to Left 4 Dead if they want to. But they just, like I said, they print so much money with Steam that
So true.
Doesn't really
I
matter.
thought this was a Left 4 Dead 3 teaser, and I was watching the video, and I was like, "This graphic sucks." For Left 4 Dead 3, what the hell have they been doing for 10 years? And then I saw it was Left 4 Dead 2. I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense."
Yeah. All right. The last thing I have on my list is in an interview with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the movie actor, who has his own company called Hit Record that does a lot of kind of unique storytelling. Basically, in an interview, he said that he sees video games as kind of the future of storytelling, and that the more groundbreaking storytelling is going to come from video games. And it's just interesting to see someone who's that ingrained in kind of the big Hollywood movies say something like that. And I know that his company Hit Record had done a deal with Ubisoft to create music for Watch Dogs Legion. What's your take on this, Dorian?
Oh, I think he's completely right. And side note, I watched that whole. That was one of. I love Hot Ones as the show in general. I think that was one of my favorite interviews in recent history from their thing. But I think he's completely right. I just want to pull from an example that I did yesterday. So Lovecraft Country actually has a virtual experience that they added on to the show to kind of immerse players and people into the story and kind of take it further than what I've ever seen before. So it was a cool concept that not only extended the source material that they were trying to tell the story from, but also gave me a new perspective on the show, and just it was beautiful visuals and things like that. So I think storytelling, virtual storytelling, and any type of storytelling in general will definitely be the future. Be able to be easily better told in video games rather than actual movie or something like that. And you can even look to, although I wouldn't say like you can even look to the Avengers, I guess. Like this game that we just played, we basically said it felt like a movie. It felt like a Marvel cinematic movie in a way. And I wouldn't trade like the video game, my video game for experience to like not go to a movie or something. But I definitely felt a lot cooler being part of actually playing as an Avenger and being a part of the story versus just sitting there and watching it. So I definitely agree with him that storytelling and the future of storytelling lies within video games.
Josh?
I agree with him, but also disagree with him in the sense of, I think in terms of storytelling in terms of digital storytelling with video games, I don't think we're going to get it any further than we have it currently. Like in terms of things like The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, and even games like Death Stranding, which personally I didn't enjoy, but from a storytelling perspective works very well. You know what I mean? I think I don't think we're going to see any breakthroughs in a long time in terms of video gaming and storytelling. However, I think that we are going to see a lot more breakthroughs in narrative storytelling in VR. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be the place to give the best just the best storytelling experience you can have is in VR. You know what I mean? Because you're not limited to just when you're playing a video game. Yeah, you have the camera, you can look around, but in cutscenes you're locked onto what they want you to see. You know what I mean? With VR, you have that freedom of like, even during a cutscene, you can just be like, look around you, you can look at other things, see little hidden details. You know what I mean? Like they could always like put little, like just in terms of like movies, like if you were going to do like a detective or like a crime genre movie in VR, you could literally leave actual clues around for people to look at, you know what I mean? Like, and make it a bit more immersive. So I think yes, but I would take his statement and take it one step further and say that I think VR is going to be the place to push like narrative storytelling in a digital space.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Josh, where I don't think movies and television to me still are fantastic mediums for storytelling, and we can still keep producing high quality. We're still seeing that, high quality stories coming in those mediums. But when you're talking about new experiences, video games, specifically VR, is where we're going to go next. I think once VR gets to the place where right now, the Oculus Quest is taken off, but it's a very limited in terms of resources, graphical resources is very limited. The graphics on there are fine, but they're being powered by essentially a high-end mobile phone, where hopefully in the future we can start getting, because you guys haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet. Like,
No, I played like 1 second of it at Mark's one time.
okay, but if you actually play it, like you'll be like, oh, okay, like that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like when I played Half-Life Alex, look, I was already sold on VR. You know, I helped produce the Twin Peaks VR experience and whatnot, and I have a Quest. And but Half-Life Alex is the one. It's like the first
Bro,
one
quit playing
that
and let me play the game. Then Dennis, send me the game.
you can play it if you sign on to the Family and Friends on Steam. Don't you have the Collider Games
No,
Family and
we'll
Friends
talk
or
about this
whatever?
after because every
Okay.
time we talk about Half-Life Alex, I just start getting mad because I haven't played it yet.
Okay. But anyways, it's the first one where I was like, "Oh, here's what happens when you take a AAA studio with AAA resources and put them into VR. That's what you get out of it. You get this, experience that you can't have with either movies, televisions, or even conventional gaming. Half-Life Alex is a VR specific interactive story, and obviously, there's gameplay elements to it. Otherwise, people wouldn't be playing it. But yeah, to me, that is one area that points to where storytelling can go.
I'm excited. Just we're speaking of AAA VR. I'm excited because I know Rocksteady has they
Rockstar.
Rockstar. I didn't
Yeah.
speak. Rockstar has they have a VR game in the works. So I'm excited to see what that will be. If it will be a AAA, if it will be another GTA or something like that. But I'm excited to see nonetheless.
Yeah. So I think technology, we just have to wait for the technology to catch up and also for the consumers to, once VR headsets become almost as ubiquitous as the cell phone, you know what I mean? Like that's when you'll have a much more resources poured into storytelling for those devices. So.
And I feel like, you hit the nail on the head when you said I feel like the Quest is definitely the most accessible VR headset
Yes.
to date. And I feel like the easiest way to really sell somebody, the only way to really sell somebody on VR is like having them put on the headset for the first time. I feel it's like the wall that people are not understanding is like the reason why it's not selling as much because people are like, oh wait, how am I gonna? What's to guarantee me liking this experience? Like I don't want to pay $400 or something like that for me not to enjoy the experience. So I think the biggest thing is like hopefully once this COVID pandemic settles down and things like that, like Oculus will be able to actually demo it, have more demo stations around the world so people can try it firsthand versus not like
VR is all about demoing. The
Yeah.
problem is, and I've had experience with this marketing VR with traditional 2D. It's very hard to get across. Like you can't get someone to know what that experience is like unless they actually have done it before or have it, So.
Yeah, and it's hard to display. Like you can do like mixed reality or something like that on YouTube, but it still doesn't just like fully show how immersed you really are once you put on that headset. It really is a whole nother world.
Yeah, cool. All right, that's all the topics I have. Is there anything else? I think Josh, you had a few
things. I got a couple super small things to mention. First of all, one of them is this is good news for you, Dorian. They're taking out the shield nerf in Apex Legends like before. So the shields are going back to the way that they were. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. Apparently, in Valorant, which is a game that I played, there was a recent patch that made one of the characters so powerful that to remove the entire character from the game, which was Omen. Thought that's worth talking about. Fall Guys is planning to add a huge scammer called Big Yeetus. Thought that'd be worth mentioning. Good old Big Yeetus.
I'm not playing that. I haven't touched that game. I don't have any urge to ever go back again. So, no.
Oh man, but it's so good to watch you rage, Dorian. Okay, and then they Gods and Monsters, which was that game that everyone was saying looks like Legend of Zelda that we saw announced a while ago, and we were seeing a lot of like Legend of Zelda like clones being called one. Gods and Monsters branded. It was they changed the name to, I believe, Immortals: Phoenix Rising, and they also leaked the release date, which is supposedly going to be December 3rd. So yeah, the 3rd. It's going to be on Xbox, presumably PC. And then while we're on that, we're gonna cover the Ubisoft Forward event happening on September 10th. Just 6 days from now, we got the Ubisoft Forward event. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you keep an eye out. Go watch it. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the next podcast after we watch it ourselves. And then what I think is really cool, like this is something I've been telling people forever that they should do this. The fact that it's not a thing is crazy. And because of like lockdown happening, it made me want to create it myself if I knew how. But unfortunately, Amazon/Twitch already did it, which is have you guys heard about this? They released these view parties. So if you're a Twitch streamer, you can stream Amazon Prime TV shows to your audiences and you can actually watch it together, which is crazy. Like, first of all, digital licensing right-wise, I don't know how they got that to work, because it's like you could stream like The Boys to like a half a million people for free.
Is it only for Amazon Prime original content or anything? Yeah, because they own the rights to that, so they can do that to promote the Twitch stuff. But they have a bunch of like movies or whatever stuff that they're licensed, but they don't own them. But it makes sense for their own Prime stuff.
I think another way that they've like kept it down is that the watch parties is only available on PC. Like you can't go on Twitch and join a watch party. So it has to be like a thing where you're on PC, you know what I mean? I mean, they're showing it off with The Boys, and then it's like Star Trek, hold on, what's this? US residents will not be allowed to stream or watch UK only titles. That makes sense. So there are like certain licensing rights around it that are tricky. So I don't know, because it's like, does Amazon Prime, do they own the rights to Star Trek Picard?
No.
Then I think then it seems like they managed to get other shows as well, not just Prime originals. Just crazy. Like that's something that I've wanted for so long, because I enjoy, like, I don't like going out much. I enjoy like watching TV with friends. Like what I used to do is I used to start a PlayStation party in private, and I used to like watch YouTube videos with my friend Alex, like just like watching the same video like in 2 different countries. There's something like oddly comforting about it. You know what I mean? It's like you're hanging out with your friend, but you're not. So that's really cool. I'm glad they did that. The Witcher 3 is getting a free next gen upgrade. So if you own The Witcher 3, you will be getting a free next gen version on PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. And that makes sense to me because The Witcher 3 has got a lot of upscaling has a lot of like ways you can upscale it, and there's just so much you can do with that game where it's like
if you just own they'll give you a free upgrade.
It seems like it, because that's what they're calling it.
Interesting, because I have Witcher 3
free next gen upgrade,
and I haven't really played much of it, maybe a couple hours. And like I think one of the things I think I mentioned this in a long time ago podcast. I was like, even though it's free current generation, it was early current gen, so it was like the graphics aren't quite as good as like what you're getting now with like, you know, Red Dead Redemption or Last of Us or whatever. So the Witcher 3 graphics back then weren't as nice.
Yeah, they're in my opinion, they were great when they did come out.
Yeah,
but like I played The Witcher 3 on a PS4 with a HDR screen, and you actually get to like, there is that option in the settings where you can up the graphics and then you can enable HDR. So, and that already made the game look so much better. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like on the next gen. It sounds like if you own it on, like, unfortunately for me, I would prefer to play it on PC, because I know that especially with my graphics card, I can do some ray tracing possibly. Which sucks, but so it's only if you own it. Like, if I own it on PlayStation, I get it for free on PS5. So if I own it on PC, I get it for free when they release the newer version, the more high def version, because it's going to be on PC as well. But so you get it for free.
I have it on my console. I have it on my Xbox One. So
yeah, so if you get the Xbox Series X, you'll get it for free. The next version update, which is great. And then whilst we're on that topic, they're also bringing out their own like Pokemon Go game, The Witcher 3. I forgot what it's called, but it actually looks great, like graphics wise, and it looks really fun. I enjoy those types of games like Pokemon Go. I actually really enjoy that. It keeps you active, keeps you going around. I just like the fact I didn't really enjoy the Walking Dead one, but I think I'll really enjoy the Witcher 3 version, which is just fighting all these like Witcher monsters using a sword. It's really sick. And then last thing to bring up is more just for you guys, because I read this in the news and this has got not really gaming related, but apparently someone saw a dude in a jetpack near LAX.
Oh, yes.
And the feds are investigating who the hell was flying around LAX in a jetpack. Now, I know if there's only one type of jetpack you can do this with, and I think the price wise they start at like $450,000 or $350,000. So first of all, and you need a specific license just to be able to fly it, and that's in Dubai. So clearly it was illegal because, as far as I know, LA doesn't have these laws for you to own your own private jetpack and go flying around. You know, I think. As far as I know, Dubai is the only place you can do that. If you can afford it, you can afford the licenses and you can afford everything else that goes with it. But crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Let's just wrap things up with what everyone's playing. Let's start off with you, Dorian.
Yeah, playing Avengers, gonna keep playing that. Also playing Apex, you know, trying to do some ranked matches. I'll start streaming that again after we get through some more of this Avengers. But yeah, just Avengers and Apex is all I've been playing. That's the only thing I'll play for the next couple of weeks, probably.
And where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec, and you can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and you can find me right here at Collider Games.
Josh, what have you been playing? What have you fixed up your socials yet?
Not yet. But I will say, thank you to the Game Pass. I've been playing a lot of games actually. I think currently I've been playing a lot of Minecraft Dungeons. Really been enjoying Minecraft Dungeons. Actually, it's very casual. Like, I hate to say that, but that's what I like about it is I don't have to focus much. I can just sit there endlessly killing, you know, zombies or skeletons. I'm enjoying that. Been playing a lot of Subnautica, which is a game I never got to play. I love survival games. Subnautica is great. I can't play it for too long because otherwise I feel claustrophobic being underwater for too long. I've been playing a game called Grounded, which is a game that we spoke about a while ago. It's I forget the studio that made it, but it was so weird because they used to make like intense FPS games and now they're doing a survival game. But it's that game where you're shrunk down to like the size of
yeah. Obsidian, which Microsoft bought.
Yeah. It was dude, it's fun. It's a really great multiplayer survival game. I've really been enjoying that, and it's tough, dude. Like, I'm playing it on medium, and if you like attack one ant, they all come after you, and it's crazy. Not to mention the spiders are like huge. They're like monster huge. It's scary. And then I'm about to start playing Sea of Thieves, which I'm looking forward to playing. Sea of Thieves has been good. Been playing a lot of Valorant as usual. Been playing a lot of Fortnite because it's been fun. And hopefully going to be streaming some Apex with Dorian soon. Probably not today, but soon.
Cool. Your socials, have you worked them out yet, or you're still working on that?
Currently, you guys can find me right here on the Collider Games channel. And no, I'm actually deactivating all my current socials this week. So if you guys have me on social media at all, say goodbye to those accounts because I'm either gonna suspend them or I don't know what that term I'm looking for is. Deactivate. There we go. I'm probably just going to deactivate them because I don't know. I've not been enjoying social media lately, personally.
All right. You guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. I've been playing Avengers, obviously, finished the campaign. We're going to be playing some multiplayer online with Dorian, streaming some of that. And then the only other game I've been really playing is the UFC career mode, which is a lot of fun. Definitely, like, if you're into UFC or whatever, they've taken it to another level with UFC 4 and playing the career modes. It's like playing the RPG version of UFC fighting game, MMA
That's
fighting
sick.
game. Yeah, my character has just got into the UFC. I'm making my UFC debut. I played in the minor leagues, and I'm undefeated. Have some knockouts. Have one submission. Have a few decisions. You know, like, and you can pile your points.
Officially pro, or are you still semi-pro?
No, I'm pro now. I'm not pro now,
Hell yeah.
but I'm making my UFC debut, so it's fun. But that's it. I want to thank anyone who's joined us either on the podcast factory feed, or on YouTube, youtube.com/collidergames. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.
See ya.